Welcome everybody this evening. We're going to start with the resolution to exceed the revenue neutral rate. We've visited about this before. All of you, I believe, have the resolution.
No, just you do.
Oh, just me? Okay.
One copy has to be signed.
Resolution, okay. And so this is the document that allows us to exceed the revenue neutral rate. The state requires this. So does anybody have any questions about it or a motion to make that we proceed?
Make a motion that we accept the resolution as written.
Okay, do I hear a second?
Second it.
Okay. It's been moved and seconded to approve the resolution to exceed the revenue neutral rate. That's hard to say. All those in favor? Okay.
Yeah, that's right.
Opposed?
Public hearing. And I already have.
Okay, motion carries 5-0. Okay, and that is resolution number 090622-01. And I will sign that right now. Yeah.
Brian.
Okay, and then moving on ahead, are we all okay, Brian?
Yeah, we just asked a question.
Okay, we're good. Moving on ahead, the budget hearing. You know, we move right into the budget hearing, and we've all gone through the budget, and it's been posted, published. So do I hear a motion to accept the budget?
So moved.
Okay, and then second?
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve the budget. Do I hear anything from the audience? Okay, all those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Okay, and we'll go on forward. Now we're ready for public comment period. Okay, Joe King.
I was just curious if the city had ever thought about or might entertain the thought of offering a curbside recycling service for the residents.
Actually, I feel, I don't know how the rest of you feel, but I feel that that's a county issue. Speak up, everyone.
Yeah, Superior Systems is the company we contract with, and that's not something they offer, is the recycling. And then the county does have, you can take your recycling out to the county if you want to recycle, but they don't
Right.
no longer have the trailer where you can go
Right.
and put stuff in because people were dumping broken glass and
Using it.
abusing
Yeah.
it. But yeah, the county has the landfill. I mean, the city doesn't.
And we wouldn't have a place to take it once we don't have that. We don't have the
Facility.
equipment, facilities, or anything like that. So have you approached the county on this?
No.
Okay, that would probably be the best place to start.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, and they meet every Tuesday up there in the commissioner's meeting room. So,
Okay.
so they'll meet next Tuesday.
All right, thank you.
I doubt if any of us are against it. I think curbside recycling is important, but it's just not.
Cut my trash in half.
Yeah, to cut our waste baskets down a lot. Anybody have anything to say about that? Okay. Moving forward, let's go to the consent agenda, which includes minutes from the previous meeting, appropriations, lit cabin transfers for CO and J21, and the renewal for the liquor license for the Flint Hills Saloon and Eatery.
That's C0. Just
Hmm?
That's C0.
Oh,
That's
C,
Yeah.
did I say CO?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So it's correct.
0. Okay. Do I hear a motion about the consent agenda?
So moved.
Okay. Do I hear a second?
A second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to accept the consent agenda as presented. All those in favor? Okay, motion carries 5-0. There being no old business, we'll move right on into new business. The Daughters of the American Revolution have asked for us to do a proclamation to proclaim Constitution Week, but they are not here with the proclamation, so I don't believe we can go forward with that. I don't have a proper proclamation, so we'll table that until next time, I guess. The community events application for Seth Fest, Renee?
I believe I turned in the paper or what have you. What we're doing is doing the Seth Fest October 7th and 8th. Okay, good. I was gonna say, the only thing is I think on the paperwork I put 10 p.m. and then we changed it to 11, but it is there, okay. We have request from the city the solar lights to remain on the stairs until after the event. Any temporary lighting we could have.
Yeah, we have some temporary lights for, Voice of the Wind we can put back up.
So the fencing that we're requesting is just for the amphitheater. We're just gonna block that off with the,
So you're not going up the hill and,
correct, not throughout.
because the map shows you guys going up the hill and then.
We're gonna
back
have-
behind the seating and back down.
We're gonna have events, like the kids' stuff is gonna be at the park, the magic show, and that. The cornhole tournament is gonna be actually at down in the amphitheater, and then the music will start shortly after that is completed. The beer garden, we're gonna maintain down there with, I guess, the licensing from Amanda and
Yeah, She
Ryan.
came in today, I signed the information for her to submit that.
Perfect, and she's just, that they were requesting a beer garden and for it to be contained
Yep.
for their licensing, and that's why we just figured just block off the amphitheater area and just keep the beer garden and all of that there. There will be vendors and what have you up on top of the Riverwalk, but to accommodate them, just all the alcohol, just have to remain down.
So you're not
Yeah,
going,
later.
so you're not going past the seating areas?
We are not going
fencing.
past.
So you just want it from basically the existing fence we have behind to the front of
It's a free event, so you don't need ticketing down.
Right.
Easy,
Yes.
because I seen that, like, that's a lot of fencing going off the hill, so.
Oh, no, just
So,
by the stage and a couple at the top, just, you know, where you go down into the seating.
yep,
So just make sure nobody comes up.
Okay.
We have hired one security guard, and then we have other volunteers that are gonna be manning the gates to ensure that the alcohol doesn't go beyond the amphitheater.
okay, great.
Okay.
Do you need any questions answered on trash removal or anything?
I know, here you explain it to me. I guess we did with Superior Systems to do that,
Yeah,
so.
and you guys are responsible for cleaning up the
Correct.
application and all that stuff.
Yes, and I know the final walkthrough will be done Sunday morning by the Council of Arts Council members.
Okay.
I'm sure that.
Does anybody have any issues with the solar lights being left on, temporary lighting, spider box extension cords and the fencing? It's basically what you're asking for.
Correct.
Okay. I guess it wouldn't hurt to have a motion to approve all those things that way.
Yeah, you should, since they're
Yeah.
using.
I make a motion that we approve the request from Seth Fest.
Okay. Second?
A second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve the request from the Seth Fest committee. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Okay. City Lake Committee recommend, thank you, Renee.
Thank you.
City Lake Committee recommendations,
We'll have to go through and approve these each by themselves.
each single.
Yeah, so we'll start with Greg Young, B9, a boundary line adjustment request of 30 feet for a garage. And Larry and Keith can answer questions on if you guys have any. And that's on page 53 to 60.
I did look through all of these, and I am just gonna bring up something that I have been thinking about for a long time, and we can discuss if you want to discuss. When they give plans, do they give the inside plans for these buildings as well as the outside? Or perimeters, or do they?
They just give us a drawing of the,
Well, for the boundary adjustments, just the footprint.
yes, the footprint of what the
Now-
structure's gonna be.
A building permit, they give us drawings of the inside
Okay,
and everything.
That's
Because-
a separate process.
Yeah,
Okay.
they're
Yeah.
two different processes.
that makes
Yeah.
sense, yeah.
So-
The reason I ask that is I know that in the past, there's been some people who have wanted bathrooms in those exterior buildings and stuff, and that's not approved in our.
Well, as long as it's not, if it's within the 100-foot foot from the water, it's not allowed, but outside of that, I mean,
Wow.
we've allowed
Yeah.
that in the past.
The council, we made an amendment to that several years ago.
Okay, that must have been.
3 or 4 years ago, that
Yeah.
council made an amendment. And the discussion was the fact that KDHE has no problems with cabins having plumbing in them, as long as they were 100 foot back from the water. Then the question came up is, then why would there be a problem for any other accessory structure that's beyond that same 100 foot line? Why couldn't it have plumbing in it, so long as the septic system complied with KDHE requirements?
Or they put it in a holding tank.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's what, something I think that we need to be,
Yeah, nothing in that 100 foot area, but once you're at the cabin and beyond, yeah, we
so
started
like
letting
dogs
them
and
do
things
that.
would be, yeah.
Right, that's why we do the inspections on transfers, to make sure nothing down by the water has plumbing in it.
Well, I just think that we need to be really aware of our plumbing problems, and we're not quite sure where we're going yet with our lake situation. And I think we need to be very aware of anything additional going in. I think we need to be very cognizant of that, because we don't want to exacerbate the problem.
Right.
So, okay, that was my question. I wanted to get that. This is maybe, maybe not doing it on Gregory Young's, but at least it's done, so, okay. So does anybody have any objections to the Gregory Young or anything to say about it? Do I hear a motion for that one?
So moved.
Okay,
Second.
okay. The moved and seconded to approve Gregory Young 30-foot extension. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Okay, Gregory.
Next one's Gregory and Lisa Ebert, B21. Their request is a boundary line adjustment request of 40 by 60 for construction of a garage.
Okay,
And that's on page 61 to 68.
okay. Anybody, again?
This, I don't know, let me explain a little bit on this. Normally, these boundary extensions, we try and square off the rectangle that they have originally. But in this case, in this location, there's an access road. Were we to go ahead and give them more than the area that they needed for the shed and squared up those boundaries, we'd be blocking off the access road to the other cabins around that point. Just something to explain, because normally we wouldn't have a small square like this one. But that's the reason for it. We're not blocking off anybody's access to their cabin by doing this. And it has all the space that the leaseholders wanted to build their garage, and the road's still there for them to use too.
So it's fair.
Right.
Okay.
This right here.
And
Just
you-
trim it off right there. What happens to this? It just ends up
And point out there on each section,
You guys have any?
Tight.
concerns?
rings up there, and, who else?
Well, you gotta see some of the boxes up there.
Probably their cabins,
That's why we came out
no,
here.
and Reagan's.
So, but
And then,
if we just squared it off,
well, they've got that shed in the middle,
Yeah.
and there's a lateral field in there to the cabin that's next to Reagan's.
That was a tricky one, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So, does anybody have any complaints? The neighbors are all okay, everything, so do I hear a motion?
Motion.
Okay, second?
Second.
Moved and seconded to approve 40 by 60 boundary extension for Greg and Lisa Ebert, B21. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Okay, Tim and Cheryl Schaff.
Page 7, they're requesting a boundary line adjustment of 14-foot north side and 28-foot south side for a new construction of a cabin.
And again, the sewage, we don't have a septic system problem there.
Well, I mean, they already have an existing septic system if they're tearing a house down. If the house has, depends on how many bathrooms and things like that, they'll have to, their septic system will have to meet the KH requirements of acceptable
Okay,
amount of storage for whatever they decide to build.
okay. Any other questions? Okay, do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Okay, Jason, second?
Second.
Mark, all those in favor? Motion carries 5-0. And Tim Benning.
Yep, C25 is requesting a boundary line adjustment of 22 foot for new construction of a cabin and carport.
Okay. And again, no problems, okay?
No, nothing out of the ordinary, there's plenty of
Okay.
room.
Simple.
Dry.
Okay. Do I hear a motion?
So,
Okay, second?
I'll second.
Okay, moved and seconded to approve Tim Benning's request. All those in favor? Motion carries 5-0, thank you. Okay, next we're going to move to the police recommendation stop sign. On August 19th, Chief Wangerin and City Administrator Nick Jones met with the Council Grove Junior Senior High School Principal Jay Dorenbos regarding some traffic concerns he has surrounding the Council Grove Junior Senior High. He requested that a stop sign be placed for the southbound traffic in the 15-mile-per-hour zone on Wood Street at Hockaday. Principal Dorenbos stated that there had been issues with traffic speeding on South Wood Street, creating a potential hazard for vehicle and pedestrians, and believes the chief believes that placing a stop sign at Hockaday and Wood for southbound traffic would slow that vehicle traffic down and make it a more safe school environment. Do I hear a motion to place that stop sign?
I'll make the motion that we approve the stop sign as
Okay,
requested.
second?
Second.
Okay. Any conversation? Okay. All those in favor? Motion carries 5-0. Okay, next. All kinds of people today. Police and Fire Committee accepts the recommendation from the Fire Department to appoint the following volunteer firefighters with the Council Grove Fire Department. These will be contingent upon passing the drug alcohol screening and physical. Matthew Wirtz, Jimmy Blackburn, and Jonathan Mayhill. Do I hear a motion to approve that appointment?
So moved.
Okay. Second?
Second.
Okay. Moved and seconded to approve the appointments of Matthew Wirtz, Jimmy Blackburn, and Jonathan Mayhill. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Okay, next, the Police and Fire Committee recommends a retention raise for Police Chief Sean Wangerin to $26.50 per hour with an effective date of September 7th, 2022.
I know your packet says the 14th, I got my weeks mixed up, so.
Yeah.
14th. is what-
Yes.
Yeah, it's wrong. I got my weeks
Okay.
mixed up.
Yeah.
I caught it today when I was typing up my notes for the meeting, so
So what's the actual date?
tomorrow,
Tomorrow.
7th.
Mhm. Did you want to say anything about this?
No, I mean, just,
Okay.
Sean does a really good job, and obviously Sean goes to a lot of training and stuff, and he's garnered interest from other communities. Obviously Sean, I don't believe Sean's going anywhere, but I do think that it's important that we take care of him. So I think he does a really good job.
No,
So
that he's,
I think, and the committee feels that way as well.
Yeah, he does the extra to
yeah.
Will you put a note in your minutes that that was amended from the
Yep.
packet?
Okay. Do I hear a motion to approve raise for chief?
so
Okay,
Second.
okay. All those in favor? Okay. Opposed, none, 5-0. Motion carries. Okay, the utilities recommendation. The Utilities Committee recommends a pay increase for Michael Stover from $16.32 to $17.82 for successfully passing Class 1 Water Operator Certificate, effective date of September 7th, 2022, which is tomorrow as well. Do I hear a motion to approve that?
So moved.
Okay,
Second.
okay. All those in favor? Okay. Motion carries 5-0. Okay, next, we're going to go to governing body comments. Sharon? Okay, and Larry?
I was curious what the status was on the boat dock out at City Lake.
So the company that galvanizes the metal, I think it's in Salina, they've been backlogged. From what I understand, they're planning on getting that in this month. There's just getting materials and then getting that stuff galvanized and stuff is taking longer than they thought it was gonna take, so. But they're usually, they said they've been running 3-4 weeks behind most of the time.
Okay,
That place.
so toward the end of this month, they should
Yeah,
have
yeah,
some.
that's what
materials in
Taylor was telling me, it
start.
was September, yeah,
Okay,
so.
I have nothing else.
Okay. Jason?
I feel like a broken record about the grass in the street.
I can tell you, I was gonna bring this up, but since you brought it up. So we have an ordinance, but there's no teeth to the ordinance, we just tell you not to do it, and Dan's supposed to go tell you not to do it, but what's happened here recently is he stopped and talked to some folks that contract mow, it's not none of the ones that work for the city or anything like that, these are probably less well-known ones. And asked him, hey, blow your grass out of the street, then Dan goes around the block and they're taking off and didn't clean it up. And that's happened a couple times to him. He's also been cussed at, yelled at, all kinds of stuff for asking people. He hands them the ordinance and asks them to please not make a mess in the street, and then he's getting yelled at and cussed at, and people are just not taking it seriously. So I don't know how you remedy that unless you want to cite people or fine them or whatever. That's the only way you're going to get people to comply with it, it sounds like. Because we're trying to be nice and ask them just not to do it. So you guys kind of need to decide if that's something you want me to look into.
Mounted jet blower on one of the city trucks.
Well, I think the frustrating thing for me is like, on the east side of town, we just swept everything. And then the next day there's grass in the curbs and gutters and everything after we just swept everything. So.
I've noticed it's a problem in other towns too. This last couple of weeks we've been.
So we don't have an actual monetary fine attached?
We don't, it's just a fine that you're not allowed to do it, and then the city inspector follows up and talks to you about it and asks you not to do it, and hands you the ordinance that goes with that to explain that there is a city ordinance, and the thought is hopefully people will comply and listen, but that's not been the case. And I won't say that not everybody's, there's people that have complied with it, but there's another group that is just not good about it.
In order to make it stick, even if we had money on it, a fine on it, Brian, actually, wouldn't the police have to catch them in the act?
Well, I think that your inspector could go by and cite either the property owner or the person that he sees performing the work, but then they would appear in city court. It doesn't necessarily have to be your police, but
I just
I
wondered.
mean, but yeah, I mean, you have to prove it up at some point, but if he's expressly seen them doing it,
Yeah, he's winning.
then your proof is really testimonial.
I mean, it's pretty tough, it's right in front of their property.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It
I
stops
wouldn't
right
worry.
there at the property line usually.
So,
I wouldn't worry near as much.
I mean, you
about
had a
it.
problem over in, I don't know. Don't you have a guy that does that?
yeah, just down the street from me, he does it every time. I see it constantly, but there's a couple contractors that do mow it into the street, but then they go back after they cut it and they pick it all up.
Yep.
They're just trying to keep it out of the customer's yard, so, because it kills the grass if you get those windrows too high.
Yeah.
But yeah, most people aren't picking it up then. So I think that would be the second part, was following up to make sure that, you caught them in the act, mow it in there, but then make sure that they did not clean it up.
Yeah.
Should we put an article in the paper or something that says, council will be forced to,
I
It's
think
still
that I can
fine
look up and
if
see
we-
what other cities do. I'm sure there's other cities that have something for that as far as,
And we could also do some sort of general ordinance violation penalty schedule too, that we can elect to.
There is one presently, but it's a little steep for the rest of them. It applies to all ordinances that don't specifically
just add it
have
to the
a.
intersection.
Right, yeah, we could either adjust that or
Yeah,
do some sort of graduating thing to soak this up.
And he's not going around picking on if there's a little bit of grass. I mean, it's,
Yeah.
you go down to the contractor that mows Pizza Hut and it's out in the highway, stuff like that. I mean, it's just, and I don't know who that is, so I'm not trying to pick on him. I just know every time Pizza Hut's mowed, there's a bunch of grass in the road. you know, and I don't want him spending all of his time running around trying to tell the same people to clean up their mess all the time. You know, he's got other stuff to do as well. You know, you think him talking to them in person and handing them the ordinance would, you would hope that people will have the courtesy of complying, but that hasn't been the case with some of them.
Maybe we can adjust our,
Fee schedule.
encompassing one and then attach that to the ordinance and say, you know, that he can hand that out that shows that, hey, you will be fined if you keep doing this. You know, at least give him a leg to stand on, I guess is a good word to say. Okay. You
Yeah,
wanna just kinda-
and you'd almost have to do it with the homeowner, the property owner, because it's their responsibility to take care of their contractors. You know, you pay for a service. And so-
Well, it can be, it's no different than anything else. I mean, if somebody's not home, you can leave them a door knocker, like, hey, here's the deal, here's what's gonna happen, it's gonna get cleaned up next time.
Mhm.
And give them the courtesy. It's kind of like what we do with the cull grass is every year we know who's not gonna mow their yards and the city ends up mowing it, but every year we have to send out a letter notifying them, hey, this year if you don't mow your yard, we're gonna mow it for you and charge you for it. I'm not suggesting that the city goes and starts blowing people's grass out of the gutters.
Mhm.
I guess we could pay a contractor to do that.
I just think we ought to have a fine personally. I don't see.
Yeah, I think that's the way.
Grass blowing.
I think so.
That's the easiest way to deal with it,
Yeah.
for sure.
And then,
So would you mind, Brian, looking up that
Yeah.
ordinance and bringing us as a recommendation next meeting?
then rental owners and rental property would have to get the decision between themselves squared away.
Is the city inspector able to issue a fine that would be then a requirement to come to a court with the city, or would that have to be a police officer?
No, generally the inspector can
They can.
give a summons
Okay.
that they would come to court, I would expect, but I'll double check how we're set up here.
Okay.
But I think your inspector usually is a qualified person to do that.
Okay.
Do you know, Nick, of any communities around us that have that kind of ordinance?
I haven't looked yet.
Okay,
But I know there is some communities I've been in, and I've never seen grass on the street like it is
Right.
here.
yeah.
Yeah, like I said, the most frustrating thing is, you know, Jeff Barrow comes in at 3 or 4 in the morning and sweeps everything, and then that afternoon, everything's covered in, there's much areas that are covered in grass again, so it just defeats the purpose of running our street sweeper in some areas.
I don't see much grass in Manhattan, but I do see a lot of it in Topeka. You know, do that.
This time of year it gets tough because it gets so hot and the grass, the Bermuda grass grows
It's
so
so
fast.
fast.
Yeah.
It's so
It's just
thick.
so thick, it may not be tall, but it's thick under there.
Yeah.
Creates a lot of undergrowth.
But, you know, usually 1 or 2 passes over it and you've got it mulched up good enough to not be a problem.
I have that problem at my house, and I mow it, and then I'll go mow another part, and when I'm done, I'll go back over it, and
Mhm.
it's dried out enough that it spreads,
Mhm.
so. Okay.
Okay, anything else, Jason?
Nope, that's it.
Mark?
No.
Keith?
I have nothing there, thank you.
I don't think I have anything either. Brian?
Oh, man.
Nick?
I have nothing tonight.
Okay. All being said, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Okay, I'm gonna say, Keith said it and you second. How's that? All those in favor?
Nick.